Well, good afternoon here from a very warm Costa del Sol. I'm Bill Anderson, and I am delighted to have my guest on today, Gary Roby. Gary, welcome. Is
Oh,
your
thank you very much
microphone
for having me,
on
Bill.
mute? Oh, you're there, Gary.
I'm here.
You're
Yeah,
here.
can you
Good.
hear me?
Yep, I can hear you
I am.
absolutely fine, Gary. That's great. How are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been another really fantastic week in the world of EcoGiving.org, and really happy to be talking to you today as well to share my story and our journey.
Yeah, and but this is exactly what we're going to get to, Gary, is eco-giving, and it's about buying eco-friendly products and donating to charity at the same time, isn't it?
Exactly right. Yeah, it came about in a really strange way. I've been a brand architect for 20 years, which basically means I've helped look after brands and products all over the world and help them basically sell into retail stores and online stores, find
Right.
distributors, etc. And about 8 years ago, I found myself in a position where I think a lot of sales guys and brand representatives do, which is a serious burnout. I had a really bad burnout, and from this experience, what happened is I found the world of eco products, plastic free products, and eight
Right.
years ago, really there was not many companies doing it. It wasn't popular, and actually, to be honest with you, if you bought a plastic free product 8 years ago, you were sort of a little bit strange. Why
Yes.
are you doing this? What's the
Yeah, sure.
importance? Why do you need to buy plastic? Why do you need to buy plastic free products? Um, so anyway, I started to look after a lot of brands, and saw them grow from very small companies to multi-million pound global businesses, and had a very exciting journey for the last 8 years. And then unfortunately, what happened again about a year and a half ago, I burnt out again. It was just one of those things that it just hit me. And we've met up before, Bill, and
Sure.
I believe in a lot about the universe, and it's quite important that I let the universe guide me, and it did. It brought me to a place about 6 months ago. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and just had this idea, Bill. I
Right.
just it hit me like a train.
Uh-huh.
And I got up, I got my laptop out, I got a pen and paper. I wrote a really scrappy business plan, and did some numbers. My wife got up at 7:30 to get the kids up ready for school, and
Right.
she was like, "Well, why are you up so early?" And I was like, "Well, you don't know how early you've got no idea how early I've been up." I said, "Look, let's get the kids off to school, and I want to tell you what I've been doing." So we packed the kids off to school, and I sat down for a few hours with my wife and explained the basics of the concept. And she just said, you've got to do this. This is one of your best ideas that you've ever come up with, and it's something that we can really do to
Yeah.
to help people around the world. So
Mhm.
so what happened from there is, I I had to we what we did is we put a very small team together, and we developed a website, a brand name, because we had no name, and went through all the basics of a business, really, setting the business up correctly.
Right.
I have an incredible list of manufacturers and suppliers all over the world, and one of our pillars, and which I'll come to later, what I wanted to do is I wanted to try and get as many local producers as possible, and also just only buy from the UK and Europe.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
um, so
It,
for a couple of reasons, trusting the manufacturing process, making sure that all the products are absolutely 100% certified and correct, and
right.
really working with the manufacturers and distributors that I've worked with before, that are trusted, and I know that are going to provide some amazing products.
Yeah.
Um, and and sorry, go on.
No, no, no. I'm following you here.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, and from there, it was a really amazing journey. We put the business together really quickly, probably quicker than I've ever put any business or startup together before. Built a website, fairly quick. Got the product into a small warehouse near us really quickly. Started talking to charities, which onboarded, and really just loved what we're doing really quickly. And then the media just got hold of it, and being on amazing programs like yourselves, and being in local papers and national papers, and being interviewed in editorials, and it just became our life 24/7 very, very quickly. and
Right.
and the beauty of it is, it's just such a simple concept. It's not a concept, it's such a beautiful, simple idea. People
Right.
go on our website, they buy the best plastic free vegan certified products, all manufactured in the UK, Europe. And when they purchase their products, a percentage of that cart value goes back to charities. And at the moment, we're only in Spain. We will be expanding across Europe. And then 2023, we've got a plan to expand into America as well.
Right.
And there's two ways the consumer can choose a charity. Number one is buy an affiliate link. So when we set a charity up with basically everything they need. We don't ask for anything from a charity. We don't ask for any commitment. We don't ask for any money. Of course, we do absolutely everything. We literally ask one thing for them to do, and it's for their benefit, is to talk about us on their social media once every 2 weeks, which we provide all the posts, we provide all the social media, all the content that they need. And what they do is they just post it on their social media with an affiliate link. And these affiliate links, if you haven't come by them before, are very clever. What they do is they automatically choose the charity that you've clicked on at the checkout process.
All right. I
So at
see.
checkout, you don't have to do anything. The affiliate link does all the work for you. You check out at 3 stages in the checkout. You actually get to you get to see how much you've donated to your charity as well. So everything's very transparent and open and honest. And then you check out, and that money comes into the back end of our system, which is also an open system, and anybody can ask to see it. We've made it open to the public, and we've made it open to the charity. So anybody can email us and say, Gary, can we see the back end of your system and what you're donating and who you're donating to? That's absolutely no problem. And that goes into the back end of the system, and then the charities receive the money automatically once a month.
Fantastic.
With the donations they receive.
You've been in touch with a lot of local charities down here, Gary, to get them involved in this whole program, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been really busy. We've been driving from Torrox to Alicante and Almeria and Marbella, and we've been absolutely everywhere. Yeah, we've been talking to some amazing charities like AAA, Donkey Dreamland, who all have very different stories, but all have the same issue. They all have the same issue, and that is they don't get any support outside of donations and volunteers.
That's right.
And that's really one of the most important reasons I started this, because we're big advocates of charity, supporting charities in our local area where we are, but we're just one family, Bill. We've only got a certain amount of expendable cash that we can give away, and we try and give as much as we can. And what actually happened when the light bulb moment happened is that there's a massive missing link between communities understanding the true need and necessity of charities and what they do and why they're here. And I think sometimes also people, when they hear the word charity, they might think just animal charity, but it's not just animal charities out there. It's cancer charities. It's, there's an amazing charity called Deborah, and they help kids with a skin disease called the butterfly disease. And it's just the most amazing charity, honestly. And our mission, we've got 4 pillars in the business. And they are, number one, to help, most importantly, to help charities create regular donations to try and take a small amount of pressure off the charities so they can concentrate on what they need to do, which is, if they're an animal charity, rehoming animals or looking after more animals or expanding their place so they can look after more animals, or looking for foster parents, and not having to wake up every morning worrying about, how they're going to pay their next vet bill or whatever, Right. So we're trying to make a small dent in that necessity of them always having to shout out and about donations. And also, the one thing charities don't do, and it's difficult for them to do, is beg. They can't beg for donations on the internet or Facebook, or social media. So what they have to do is they have to make their content engaging for people to keep following them. They can't beg all the time. So where we come in, which is really, really quite clever, is that people need the products that we sell on our website regularly. So if they're buying our products regularly and they're donating regularly, then actually we've got a system in place where people are helping and saving the planet, and they're donating regularly to charity. So the 4 pillars. So number one is looking after the charities. Right. Number 2, just mentioned there, is plastic free, reducing plastic in your life. And for me, we're not preaching, you must change absolutely everything in your house, because that's impossible. It's like, I guess, a very simple analogy, like giving up smoking. When you give up smoking, go cold turkey straight away. What you do is you slowly stop, and then you release it out your system. And that's what we really ask in our ways.
Right.
You know, if you use a plastic sponge in your house, you can buy a compostable sponge from our website, and it's made of cellulose and flaxseed. And when you're finished with the sponge, you throw it in your garden, and it totally composts. And
Right.
it's just unbelievable. So just making those small changes. Instead of using normal toothpaste, you can buy toothpaste tablets from our website. You know, instead of you know, toothpaste contains 80% water, and then you've got the plastic tube and the lid and the little bit of foil that goes over the top. So again, just trying to make those very small changes in your house.
Right.
Um, and then the third pillar is community.
Hmm.
And again, very dear to my heart. We're very family orientated family, very family orientated family, all about community
Sure.
and bringing the community together. And that's what we're trying to do as well, is bring more people to these charities. So, you know, if they don't buy from us, that's absolutely fine, but we want them to go to the charities and donate directly as well.
Right.
We want them
Right.
to go to the charities and adopt animals, or go and visit, you know, because obviously, like, cancer patients need people to go and visit them and look after them and talk to them, and someone to talk to, and, you know, a shoulder to cry on, or whatever that might be. So all those things about community, bringing more communities together, and people, and making people aware of all these other charities out there. And that's where the second phase of the website and how people buy on here. So we're investing quite a large sum of money driving traffic organically to the website as well. And
Okay.
when people come organically to the website, before they check out, they have to choose a charity. They cannot spend any money on our website until they choose a charity, and that's via a drop down menu at the checkout stage. What we do is we have a charity page, and it lists the charities that we're supporting right now on there. At the moment, it's a very small amount, because we're 3 weeks old. We're 3 weeks old today, and we are still testing and making sure everything's working very well, which it is, and we're understanding what the sales volumes are, which we're doing right now. We've got about 150 charities already signed up that we're slowly releasing into the void of the charity. Of the charity page.
Right.
But that also takes time. You know, we obviously, because we ask for some logos and some images and pictures, and then I go and do an interview with these charities as well. So there's quite a bit to do. So basically, what people can do is they can go to the website, research what charities they want, what would like to donate to, and then at the checkout stage, they will have a drop down menu, which they can then choose that charity they prefer. And as we grow as well, Bill, there'll be upgrades. You know, we're going to upgrade it to a map, and then you can put your postcode in, and you can find out the local charities on your postcode. Or say you've been, I mean, I've heard this story many times, when people go on holiday and they meet a charity, or they go to an event and there's a charity there that they resonate with. It might be that you put the postcode in that you were where you were on holiday.
For
And then you can
example,
choose
yeah.
that charity, you know, one time, and then the next time you wanted to shop, you can choose a different charity potentially.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, this is I'm going to use the term, Gary. It is a business, because I guess you and your family need to eat and live as well. But you know, this kind of process develops, then you know, there's going to be hopefully some regular income coming to these charities, and that's the thing that many of them lack, is regular income.
Absolutely, and yeah, look, I guess, you know, I like to call ourselves an organisation, because, you know, with the numbers, which I was going to come to next, you know, we give 60 to 70% of our profit margins back to charities.
Right.
So we are profit with purpose. We are profit with purpose, which is really important. And we also give, give 1% of our annual revenue to another organisation called 1% for the Planet. And what they do is they take 1% of companies' annual revenue, and they put it into a pot, and then they distribute it how they feel necessary
Right.
within their remit of what they might be doing all over, and that goes all over the world. And we also plant a tree for every order as well. So we're part of the Eden Reforestation Project. And so for every order on the website, we also plant a tree. So 100% we are a business, 100% my family has to eat. Of course, I've got two beautiful kids and a wife. So yep, absolutely. And we've got a baby, on the way as well. So
Wow.
of course we do. But, you know, we're a profit with purpose business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and you know, you are right. You know, it's regular donations, donating to charities maybe that you've never heard of before.
Sure.
You know, something that resonates with you and your family, or you might have adopted a dog and you want to, you know, search for that charity, or a different charity that does dog adoptions and stuff.
Right.
um and then our final pillar is supporting local producers and manufacturers.
Okay.
So we have an internal company goal, an organization goal of having 80% of our products manufactured and produced locally in Spain. We're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but we are getting there, which is really exciting. We've got some beautiful soaps from Spain and some other lovely stuff as well on there. But what the mission is, for example, when we go to Germany, 80% of the products will be manufactured in Germany. If we go to America,
Okay.
80% of the
Right.
products
I
will be
get it.
manufactured in America. So, so we've got these beautiful four pillars, which are, charity, plastic free, building communities, and then obviously helping local producers and manufacturers, because we will have some larger brands on there as we grow. But right now, it's really important that we help the smaller brands and the smaller companies that really want to break out and make a name for themselves, as well as giving them a bit of a platform to sell their products.
Yeah, and the whole plastics thing, it has become I think increasingly in people's consciousness. But there's only two of us that live at home here. Well, three dogs and three cats as well. But uh, we're the ones that do most of the eating and cooking and shopping. And the amount of plastics, and we are pretty careful about these things, but the amount of plastics that we end up with, we have
Yeah.
a big bin bag full of plastics at the end of every week. And it really is. It seems sometimes there's no way of avoiding it, isn't there?
It is a super challenge, and I think some countries are better than others. Spain's been amazing. They've made some massive pledges about reducing plastic and plastic use in stores, and even myself going into some local stores and some larger chain stores as well. I can see that they've been reducing plastic or using biodegradable bags, compostable bags to put your fruit and veg in, and actually having no packaging on your fruit and veg, which is an amazing start.
Sure.
But it's definitely a challenge. And I also think as the technology grows and the adoption grows, and as people, it's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Because the more people that buy the products, the more adoption, the more money goes into that industry. The more money that goes into that industry, actually, then the cost prices of everything goes down. So then when you look at the larger scale retailers and the mass retailers, then they'll be more happy to adopt it because it's not coming off their top line, which again is that's just the reality, isn't it? That's the truth and
Sure.
the reality
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
So it's a big challenge. I think we've all got a long way to go, but I think that's why I said at the beginning also, it's really, really important is just remember those little swaps. Don't let it bewilder you or overwhelm you. Just try and make one or two changes
Hmm.
in your house, and that makes a massive difference. I don't know if anybody is listening that follows our social media, but an amazing post I did a couple of days ago. 52 in a year we dump 52,000. Sorry. In a week we dump 52,000 plastic sponges,
Right.
and those plastic sponges. I've got that the wrong way around. Let me start again. Let me start again.
I have these
We,
senior
let, me,
moments, Gary.
let me get let me get these facts. I'm getting old. I've just turned 40. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Give me just so it takes 52,000 years for a year's worth of plastic sponges to compost in a landfill.
Right.
So let me repeat that again. It's quite incredible. It takes 52,000 years for a year's worth of plastic sponges, a normal sponge that you'd use in your house, to compost or to break down. They don't compost, but to break down in a landfill. 52,000 years. One of our sponges takes 30 days.
Right.
Takes
Okay.
30 days to break down in active soil, and sometimes quicker. It depends how active your soil is, but so those simple things, those little changes make a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm just actually looking through your website as we're talking here, and you've got I guess this is something which will be developing sort of by the day, but you've got bathroom products, household and cleaning products, pet products, vegan sweets,
Yep.
and some vitamin products. And I guess this is something that you will be,
Yep.
just constantly developing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to start off with a very small range of products, and understanding this industry, these were the products that made the top sellers, I guess, and that's what we had to choose really. But as we grow, we will be definitely bringing on more pet products. Be bringing on, actually, we're developing at the moment a way to deliver food as well. So we're talking to cold storage distributors all over Spain and all over Europe to
Right.
see how we can start to deliver vegan food, vegetarian food, because that's really quite in high demand. And again, what's really important is looking at what people buy regularly. So if people can buy regularly from us and donate regularly, then we've got a really good formula there. So yes, that's something we're definitely, and I think we'll grow to maybe 150, 200 different types of products.
Right.
So yeah, so
But
it's quite interesting.
I have to
And
say,
yeah,
Gary,
and I
that
sorry.
the products are just
Mm,
looking through your website, which I'll give out, which is EcoGiving, ecogiving.org. I mean, you're not charging silly prices for these products. These are the kind
no.
of prices you would expect to pay if you went into a shop, to be honest.
Absolutely, and again, was super important for us to make sure that affordable and the correct prices. And again, we've got really good relationships with our manufacturers and our distributors and our producers, so we're also able to offer some the correct prices as well, for sure.
Yeah,
And again, it's important. The world's in a really hard place right now. So we just want to make sure that we can provide a good service with the right pricing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, totally. And I appreciate your comment on that, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, Gary, but we're going to take a short break in a few minutes, and we'll come back. And I
Okay.
think it would be interesting. You've told us a little bit about your journey um, to setting up this organization. But
Yep.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about you and where you're from and how you ended up here on the Costa del Sol and how that's been for you, because it's a very
Sure.
different way of life down here than in the UK, for example. So we're going to catch up
Yep.
with a little bit of that, and then we'll talk a bit more. Well, talk a lot more about the whole ecogiving.org um, organization and how it's working. So, Dave, can we take a short break just now? And we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. I'm Bill Anderson. We're coming live here from the Costa del Sol, and my guest today, Gary Roby, from EcoGiving.org. I'm saying like echo, so in case people are not quite sure how to spell it, just ECO, EcoGiving.org. Gary, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again, Bill. Appreciate it.
Gary, just a little bit about yourself. You've told us what kind of what work you were doing previously in the whole sort of advertising and marketing world. Whereabouts are you from originally, Gary?
Yeah, I'm from England. I was born in a town called Kingston upon Thames in South
Oh,
London.
that's a posh part.
Um,
That's a posh bit.
I don't know about that. Maybe, maybe. And yeah, I met my wife 15 years ago, and we've always had the vision and the dream to live in a different country than England. And actually, we always promised ourselves when we have kids, we'd move before we had kids. And for a couple of reasons, my wife was born in South Africa, so she was very used to the outdoor life, the sun,
Right,
slightly different way of living. And yeah, for me, I actually always had the dream of looking out my window and seeing blue skies most days, and also seeing the sea. And that's the truth. That's what I wanted. That was
right,
my little picture that I had in my head. And I've actually been extremely lucky. I've always been able to work from either home or remotely, as long as I've had internet and a laptop. That's always been my part of my role. So in essence, I could live anywhere in the world. So we about 6 years ago, we started to do some research on where we'd like to live, and we researched different countries all over the world. And funnily enough, we I've actually never told this story. I've actually never told this story. Funnily enough, we were uh, um, shopping for fruits and veg in our local market near us, near where me and my wife lived. And the guy that owned the stand, he was such a friendly, lovely guy. And he said, "Look, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, we're going to move abroad, and we're looking where to live, and probably going to have a kid soon, and blah 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 blah." And he's like, "Oh," he says, "I go on holiday every single year to this most beautiful town called Nerja."
All
And
right.
we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, where's that? Where's that?" He's like, "Oh, honestly, just Google it. It's absolutely lovely. Just research it, have a look." Okay, so anyway, so we go off and we research it, and yeah, of course, I mean, it's got it's absolutely incredible, and we love it, and we we book a flight and we come over to this side of the coast for 10 days, and we hire a car. And I said to my wife, if we're going to do it, I want to live like we'd live over here. So we had a rental accommodation. We didn't eat out. We went and bought food from the local shops, and we lived as we would want, as we were going to, if we
Absolutely.
were going
Yeah.
to live over here. And we actually did in 10 days. We did nearly 5,000 kilometers in 10 days. Unbelievably. And we literally drove from, from Marbella all the way through to Motril, and
Right.
every single road up and down you could possibly imagine, looking at different towns and areas
So
and schools.
looking
And
sort of coastal inland, and all the way
it,
down. Yeah.
it, it, exactly, because we didn't know, we had no clue about prices, or we had no clue about Spanish regulations, or hospitals, or everything you don't think about. We actually literally just made this massive list, and we were like, right, we need to speak to a lawyer, we need to speak to a solicitor, we need to speak to the local hospitals, we need to go and visit some schools. And in this 10 days, we just ram packed this whole 10 days with this incredible excursion, and it was the most amazing. It really was just such an amazing time. And we found this beautiful little town called Torrox, and we've been here ever since. And we wouldn't look back. And
Yeah.
it's quiet for us. And it's if we want the craziness and the hustle bustle, we can drive half an hour and get to Malaga, and it's just beautiful. The people are beautiful, the communities are beautiful. It's just, yeah, we're very blessed.
So
Every day we wake up very
are you
blessed.
in Torres Costa or Torres Pueblo?
We're in Torres Costa.
So you're right on the coast there, and yeah, it is lovely, and as you say, Gary, it's a very convenient place to get to other places too, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we can drive an hour and a half, and we can be in Sierra Nevada. So in the
Skiing.
winter, if we want to go and take the kids to go skiing, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We haven't quite made it up there yet. My eldest is probably old enough, will be old enough next year to go up and do
Right.
some skiing, and then my youngest can just mess around in the snow and stuff. So I think this coming January, or
Uh,
next the coming to January, coming February coming, I think we'll be going up there and playing in the snow for the kids, because the kids have never seen snow. They don't know what snow is. It's
right.
amazing. So
Yeah, this is a
it's really
strange
quite.
thing. I taught English for a number of years, and when you're talking about the seasons, especially down here on the south coast of Spain, we're talking about the seasons, and of course, sunshine in summer, and everybody knows that, and people
Yep.
recognize that here. And then you say autumn is when the leaves fall off the trees, and that's fine. And then you talk about winter and snow, and the kids kind of look at you blankly, saying, "I've never seen snow."
Yeah. Yeah, not a clue. And and also it goes the other way, which is really strange. So I talk to my friends in England, on a regular basis, and they say, "Oh, oh, what's the weather like?" It'd be the winter, and I say, "Oh, it's really, really cold today. It's 10, 12 degrees." They're like, "Oh, that's not cold. That's a summer's day for us."
I
But
know.
what they don't obviously, what they we've really acclimatized quite quickly to the weather. But 10, 15 degrees is absolutely, like, we've got the fire on and we're underneath the blanket, and it's absolutely freezing.
I know, but
It's
also
really.
the housing in this part of Spain is different when you go to the north, and they do have much more extreme winters. But in this part, the housing is not
Yep.
really designed very well for 8 to 10 degrees. And actually,
It's
we find
yeah.
ourselves in wintertime sometimes going outside to get warm, because it's warmer outside than
Yeah,
it is inside the
exactly.
houses.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's so weird. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
So
Yeah, it's
when did you make the final move over to here then, Gary?
well, that would have been 5 years ago in March.
Right. Okay.
So my son was 4 weeks old. And yeah, we literally just packed up, moved over. We had 2 or 3 vans that brought all the stuff over, and yeah, it's just we've never looked back. And
And
just yeah, I mean, it's just a life changer. It's just a game changer.
you managed to get it all done pre-Brexit as well, which wasn't a bad thing.
Absolutely, I think we were very, very lucky as well. Again, that we did that all pre-Brexit, and obviously pre-COVID and all of that stuff. Because I think then
Sure.
I think it would have been very, very difficult for us to come over. But actually, to be fair, the whole process. I think a lot of people talk about how difficult the paperwork is and this and that. And actually, we really found it quite easy. We had our NIE cards really easy. We had an amazing HESTOR, and the whole process was quite simple for us. We didn't struggle at all. I've heard some real horror stories, and we actually heard some real horror stories, which made us a little bit nervous. But actually, when we went through it,
Mm.
yeah, it was fine for us. We just
Yeah.
trundled through it, and it was done.
And
Yeah,
at that time, Gary, 5 years ago, Brexit hadn't happened, and it was
no,
a much more straightforward process. Now, for people who want to move over here, it's a much more complex process and much easier to get it wrong. So I think you did very well coming over here when you did.
yeah. I mean, we always say, we wish we'd have come sooner. We wish we'd have come sooner, but we did it for the right time that suited us and our family, and yeah, we're just very thankful to the Spanish people and the Spanish government and everything that we can live over here. And it's just honestly, we've just been so well accepted, and we're just so well yeah, accepted into our local communities and the schools, and all the presidents of the schools and
Right.
the families, and just from the very beginning, we've just been extremely well accepted, and yeah, it's just been lovely. It's honestly,
Yeah.
it's been really, really beautiful. Yeah,
People are
yeah,
very, I think in particular, in this part of the coast, I think people are very accepting of, I'm not going to say Brits coming over. I'm talking about people coming from other countries to live here, because, in Mikas alone, we have 125 different nationalities living here, and I think in Torox,
wow,
you've got more Germans than we have, but there
yeah,
has been this long period of foreigners coming to live and settling down and contributing to the community, and I think people are very open to
yeah.
it, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and our town is tiny. We've got 20,000 people in our town. I mean, it's perfect for us. We absolutely love it. But I think also, when you make a true effort as well, and you do install yourself into the community, and you do learn the language, and you do make the effort to speak to everybody as well, that's really, really well accepted.
Yeah,
I've seen it many, many times where people haven't made the effort and haven't done what I think is the right thing, and that can make your life very, very
yeah.
difficult over here. It
And
really
and
can.
also
It can make your
people
life
who
very
haven't
difficult.
done their homework before they came over, people who have
Yeah,
maybe a profession or a trade in the UK, and they think, well, I'll just go over there and I'll just do the same thing, and it doesn't necessarily
yeah,
always work that way, does it?
yeah, yeah. No, totally. Or just sit on the beach and eat ice cream. That doesn't work either, by
Yeah.
the way.
No, but
It's not a good.
I mean, you got
Not
to
not
do
a
it.
good
You've
one.
got to do it sometimes, haven't you?
I agree, but the only reason I make that joke is we've met people over here, expats over here, that have just come over here, tried to set up a business, and you get into that. Oh, we'll just go to the beach today. Oh, we'll just go to the beach today. Oh, we'll just sit on the beach today. and
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, it's because it's so beautiful, and it's such a beautiful, endearing place, and you do and the summers are hot, and you know, everything's so calm and slow, you do get sucked into that a little bit. You
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
Gary, to go back to EcoGiving.org,
yeah.
you know, you've said that uh, you know, you've always been able to work from basically anywhere because a lot of your work is done online. How easy was it to set things up down here?
Um, yeah, I guess we haven't we definitely haven't struggled with eco giving to set it up. I What we'd love is more, obviously a lot more charities to sign up, and that's just not. Let me clarify. That's just not charities. That's NGOs. That's
Yes,
schools, houses of worship, any anybody that wants that needs regular donations that doesn't get support outside of donations, they can onboard with us. So if anybody's listening out there that knows or wants to recommend an NGO or a church or a school that needs funding, they can go to our website. There's a contact form on there. They can sign up, and we can put it together for them. And But no, it's not been difficult at all. Again, the people are amazing over here. They're so welcoming, and you know, we can talk to people. And I have done quite a bit of traveling and a lot of driving around Spain since we started the business, which is great. And people love to meet face to face. We've done lots of interviews with lots of charities that will be starting to release on our social media as well, to
right.
again bring that community closer to the charity, to see the real people behind the real people behind these charities that are working so hard to make a difference. And they really are. I mean, you know, I have not visited, and I won't visit. It'll be impossible for me to visit a charity where you don't find the people that are there, the volunteers that are there, that just work. They work so hard, Bill. It's just, and sometimes actually that maybe that is the little bit of a difficulty, is because they are so busy and they do work so hard. Sometimes they don't have time to talk to us. Sometimes they don't have
Yeah,
time to meet us because they're just so busy. But once they do have time, they do give us their time, and they do want to join our cause and what we're doing. And then it's just really important that the charities post, because if they don't post on their social media and they don't talk about what we do, sometimes the consumer might choose a different charity. So, you know, if as long as the charities post once every 2 weeks and utilizing our posts that we give them, so they don't have any extra work to do,
sure.
um, the system, as it were, or the formula that we've come up with does work. It works really well.
Right. It's an interesting thing, you know, an awful. I'm looking again at the charities that you've got, and yes, there are a lot of animal-based charities, and you've got Me Moana. We had Nikki Veklup on the show a few months ago. Um, we're looking to reduce plastics in the ocean.
Yep.
As I said, I know Charo van Host from the Butterfly Children. Um, it does seem to be in this area, and I guess it's probably the same in the Costa Blanca, that a lot of animal charities have cropped up because a lot of foreigners have done this. You know, most of these, not all of them, Donkey's Dreamland, Amaya has been on the show, and she is Spanish. Um, but an awful lot of foreigners have set up these animal charities down here. Do you think that
Yep.
if you get this movement into the more, I'm going to call them the more Spanish parts of Spain, are you going to find the same number of charities or different types of charities?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what a great question. There is a huge amount that we're reaching out to at the moment. I think at the moment on our database we have about 600 charities that are all Spanish run, and we're talking to them as we speak. And actually we're very honoured. We have Foundation El Hogar, based in Barcelona, and
Okay,
they're Spain's very first animal charity, very first, the
right,
first animal charity in Spain ever. And we're part of their Empresa con Corazón, so businesses with hearts, and we're
right.
really, really honoured to be part of with those guys. They have a huge following, 120,000 people on their Facebook page. So yeah, for sure, we're talking to Spanish run charities. We're actually talking to a couple of charities in Ibiza at the moment.
Okay.
We actually got a request yesterday from a few charities in Italy. There's also a charity called Animals for Asia, which is a bear sanctuary in Asia,
Wow.
and they went on our contact page and they've contacted it. Yeah, that's amazing. So we'll be supporting them as well, and that's massive. They're supported by like people like Ricky Gervais, and some really big celebrities are behind this incredible charity, and they've got like, I don't know, 350,000 followers on Facebook. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And one thing I can talk about today as well is we've just collaborated with Sea Shepherd as well.
Okay.
So we'll be supporting Sea Shepherd in Spain, and then as we grow, because Sea Shepherd basically have different heads of countries, so they have different so we'll be supporting them as we go through the different countries
The
as well. But
different
we'll be
countries.
starting
Yeah.
in Spain with Sea Shepherd in the next week or so.
That's
So
great.
yeah, it's such, yes, it's exciting process for sure. And then the final stage, just very quickly, of what we want to do, which will be totally not for profit, is an education part of our business, or
Okay.
organization, should I say. We want to go and educate in schools, in, again, houses of worships, to charities, and get people to understand about not just plastic free living and stuff like that, and simple swaps like we were talking about before, swapping a sponge with a sponge. It's a simple swap, but also understanding this amazing work charities do. So what we create there is education, a platform for volunteers to come and volunteer, because whilst they're being educated, they can volunteer at the sanctuary or wherever we are as well.
Sure.
And that'll be a totally not for profit arm of our business that we'll start looking at maybe towards the end of the year. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
we don't do anything, but we don't do anything by halves.
well, no, but I think this is you're going to have the snowball effect. What you've started with is the idea, and you've got your little
Yep,
snowball. You're at the top of the hill, and
yep.
as it gains momentum, it's just going to get bigger. I don't think there's any way to avoid that. I know you don't want to avoid it, but it may be difficult to manage that process of growth. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a really great system in place with our website that can can cope with tens of thousands of charities. We've put that in place already because that's our goal,
Right.
to do that. But yeah, I mean, we would have to bring on more team members for sure, and look at and look at scaling our warehousing and our products and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, we've got a long road ahead of us for sure. And I agree with you. I think it's really going to snowball. Again, look, we're 3 weeks old today. We're literally 3 weeks old today.
Right.
And the traction that we're getting is really quite amazing. So it's exciting times for us for sure.
But I think it's also great. I would say that we are reasonably eco-friendly. We try to minimize. We buy from the farmers market when we can and stick it in a Hessian bag and carry it back to the car in that.
Amazing.
We've got a compost heap which never actually manages to compost because we have some wild boar that come up during the night and eat everything from the compost heap. Vicky got up about 3 o'clock one morning and she said she just went outside and all she could hear was and here was this
Oh
boar the
my
size of a
god.
small pony eating everything from our compost heap. But we don't mind that.
Oh my
But
god.
it's also for us being about trying to reduce the amount of chemicals in the products that we have. And Vicky makes her own toothpaste. She makes her own soaps, and that
Yep.
has been about trying to get rid of all the rubbish and chemicals and microplastics that we have in things like, I don't know, shower gel. And
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that,
It,
that,
it,
that there's a huge
it's
thing
so
ahead
important.
here about how do we stop supporting these huge companies, because at the end of the day all this rubbish goes into the sea, and
Yep. Yep.
we fish because we think it's the healthy option, and goodness knows
Mm.
what we're consuming with them these days.
Yep. But just to leave you with this, 10 million tons of plastic end up in the sea every year.
Yeah.
10 million tons of plastic.
Yeah.
And there'll be more plastic than fish by 2050.
Wow.
It's scary, and this is, you know, and it's true, and it's happening, and this is real. This is not, this is, you know, this is not a joke. Without, you know, without not being too serious, but this is not a joke. This is a real serious issue. Then, and as said, that's why from the beginning, you know, make those simple swaps. Just make a simple swap in your house, and that'll make a difference.
Sure.
And then from those simple swaps, that will also snowball into you making, you know, more conscious changes as well.
Yeah, but I think with EcoGiving, you know, it gives us somewhere else to shop, because sometimes it's quite hard to source the things that you want that are, you know, natural, that are not full of chemicals, that are not full of
Yep,
microplastics, and this does give people another option for places to look for stuff.
absolutely,
I mean, you know,
absolutely,
the thing
absolutely.
is, Gary, I mean, you know, going back to your shop, I mean, I have the same hairdresser as Dave, you know, and I've seen this
Right.
perfect, but I've seen this perfect bamboo comb that I think I'd like to get Dave for his birthday or his Christmas. Oh, it was Dave's birthday this week, by the way. Happy birthday, Dave, this week. But
Oh, happy birthday, Dave.
I think a bamboo comb would be great for Dave, actually, you know?
I agree with you. Maybe for his beard. I don't know.
So,
Oh dear.
so
No, it's good. No, I agree. Simple swaps.
Gary, we've only, sorry, we're laughing here, but because we've got a messaging system at the side here, and I'm not even going to say what that last comment was. We've only got a couple of minutes to go, Gary. What is the message that you would like to get out there?
Um, I think really, you know, if you have any charities that that you know need some regular donations or some support, NGOs, schools, houses of worship, just go on our contact page, fill in the simple 3 or 4 lines, um, or suggest that those charities come to us to register for what we're doing. And just make those simple swaps. Make a conscious simple swap. Just give it a go. You know, the products are incredible. They do what they say on the tin, and they do exactly like a normal, like a sponge or a dishcloth that we've got on there. They work like a normal dishcloth. The toothpaste tablets work like normal toothpaste, and just make those simple swaps. Just just try it out. Do it, and yeah, let's bring the communities closer together, and let's get some regular donations to the charities that need them.
Yeah.
I think that's really where we are.
And I think the idea that you source locally for different countries, local products, you know, you're not just supporting the charities, then you're also giving these local producers who very often can't, uh, you know, afford to set up a big system just for themselves, but you're giving them a
Yep.
platform for small local producers for really quality
Yep.
goods, aren't you?
Yeah, and look again, if there's local producers out there, they can go through the same process. They can go on the contact form, just drop us an email, and obviously we'd love to have a chat with local producers as well. Anything plastic free, certified, natural products, that'd be amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Gary, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really interesting, and I think that this is an outstanding, innovative idea that, as you say, will help to bring
Thank you.
communities together. So, EcoGiving or ecogiving.org is your website. You also have a Facebook page,
Yep.
which is EcoGiving. You know, please take a
Yep.
good look at this.
Eco
And
giving shop. Eco. Yep.
yeah, Gary, thank you so much. Dave,
Amazing.
our producer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a
Thanks,
great
Dave.
weekend, everyone. We're going to be sweltering down here in the south of Spain. Take care, and we will be back next week. Many thanks.